Hello, welcome to Fertile Me Live.
Hi, everyone.
Happy Thursday. Yeah, we have such a juicy episode planned. This is a huge supplement episode, and we're going to dive right in.
Yes. We are definitely going to catch back up to diet, but we've been getting so many questions lately that we just thought we'd address them all. And they're great questions, and we love to talk about supplements.
Yeah, and we don't want to leave you confused because that defeats the whole purpose of what we do, right? We want to avoid confusion and overwhelm and not to add to it. So if you have a question, if you have lots of questions about it, if we're seeing the same questions coming up over and over again, then we want to address it and answer the question for you.
Great. Okay. I tend to get used to these questions, so
me too. And so I think the format is that we are just going to go through sort of like a FAQ format, and we're going to go through all the most commonly asked questions, and hopefully we'll, maybe this question is going through your head and maybe we'll answer it. But if not, then I encourage all of you to reach out to us, tag us in our Fertile Me group, or send us an email, hello@twoelephants.com.
Yay. Okay. First up, since we have been talking about kind of resetting with the Practically Fertile methodology lately, so when we are resetting, which of the supplements should we start with to take daily once we've stripped ourselves of all the excess supplements we've been taking?
Yeah, so let's simplify this and I'll just tell you exactly what you need to take. And can I just preface this by saying that although we love for you to be Two Elefants customers, we are absolutely okay 100% if you choose not to buy our supplements. So, even though we believe that our products are superior, that's not the point of what we're doing here. Okay. So, okay. Sorry.
Especially when somebody has asked me, I'm like, oh, you've already got folate. Just keep taking that wherever you get it, but just add it to whatever. Yeah. It's, okay. So then for the question then, Adrienne, so when we're resetting, should we start with as really daily what we should be on?
Yeah, so this is going to be an update from the previous protocol. I can't talk today. Previous protocol. You should be taking, when you're resetting, you come off all of your unnecessary supplements, right? If you're taking this herb, that herb, you're taking like 5,000 other things, royal jelly, DHEA, like whatever, serapeptase. I'm just like throwing stuff out. Then the three things that you should be taking should be a Fertile Me prenatal, right? Because that's a fertility specific prenatal, an omega-3 fish oil, and N-acetylcysteine. So after lots and lots of research and working on this for a whole year, the NAC or N-acetylcysteine is a new addition to this everyday essential protocol. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by everyday essential, that means no matter your situation, everybody could be using this. Even if you are not trying to get pregnant and you're a woman who wants to balance her hormones or just for general health, these three things are going to be absolutely essential for you. And they're going to help you.
Absolutely.
So, and we can get into a little bit later about NAC and what, well, I'll just talk about it now because why is NAC a new addition to this protocol? Well, it's because NAC is one of the super fertility supplements that I think everyone should be taking. And even if you're done having babies and you are not trying to conceive, you can still benefit from NAC because number one, it directly impacts the production of glutathione. And what glutathione is, it's the most powerful antioxidant in our body, and it corrects oxidative stress. So oxidative stress is caused by environment, everything. It's basically, it can cause DNA damage on a cellular level. That's why it's really important. That's why you hear antioxidants. Antioxidants help to combat oxidative stress. So glutathione is the most powerful antioxidant. And second thing, which a lot of you will find interesting, is that NAC will actually help with the whole liver and kidney detox process. So for so many of you out there who are wondering if you need to do a detox for fertility, you don't need to. You could just take some NAC, because NAC actually helps with a natural detoxification process. And interestingly, it's been used as a acetaminophen overdose antidote. So like if somebody overdoses and they take too much Tylenol, NAC is the solution, which I find quite interesting. But specifically for fertility, it helps with so many things, because it helps on a cellular level to correct DNA or to prevent DNA damage. It can help with egg quality. It helps with sperm quality. There's a study that showed men with varicose seals after taking NAC for 3 months, there's like a 30% improvement to their sperm quality. I mean, that's huge.
Huge. Right?
That shows that something can be done without surgery. And also for those, it balances blood sugar. So it's fantastic for those of you who have PCOS. This is a wonderful, wonderful supplement. So anyway, so that's why NAC is now part of the everyday essential. And beyond that, you really don't need to take anything else unless you have specific needs.
Great. Okay. Well, speaking of NAC, so women are starting on this new supplement journey. You have told us when we're resetting, those are the essentials that we need to be on every day. So NAC and omega-3 are part of the fuel bundle. So do I need to get on the fuel bundle right away? Do I need to start on all those supplements right away? Do I need to wait a while?
Great question, because I would be wondering the same thing. Like, why wouldn't I just take the fuel bundle? Well, the fuel bundle is designed for a very specific purpose, right? It helps with egg quality. However, if you look at the ingredients in the fuel bundle, the vitamin E and the alpha lipoic acid, they might not be appropriate for every single person. And what I really want you to do, and the whole point of this reset, is to come off, to get away from this mentality that supplements can fix everything, right? So you take these 3 essential supplements, work on your diet, work on your lifestyle, work on everything. And then after you've improved your fertile cycle score, and you still need something extra, then that's when you would add in all these specialty supplements, things that you need, right? So,
right.
But if, say, you are, you have an IVF egg retrieval coming up, you have a transfer coming up, then definitely I would just go straight to the fuel egg quality bundle.
Good.
So I'm not stopping you. I'm just saying that this is a much, much better way, because I'm going to tell you to come off the ALA and the vitamin E after a few months anyway. There's just no reason to, vitamin E, first of all, is fat soluble. So you don't want to be taking that for forever and ever and ever. And alpha lipoic acid is not appropriate for those of you who have, uncontrolled thyroid disorders, or even thyroid disorders. I would be very careful about that. Right.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So that specific bundle together is especially great when you're prepping for a retrieval or transfer, something like that, to really help with your egg quality and uterine lining. But it's not an every day thing that you need to help with right away. Got it. Okay. I'm on my new supplements. I've learned my pattern. Can I take the fertility herbal elixirs with the supplements? Is that
safe? Yeah. They're 2 separate things, and they're not going to interfere with each other. The herbal elixirs think of them as fixing your root causes. The herbal elixirs, you've identified your patterns, and you're either grateful, peaceful, faithful, hopeful, or joyful. And those are your root causes. And you take the herbal elixirs for that, while the supplements add a little bit of an additional support.
Perfect. And it's all natural stuff.
Yeah.
So when should I not be taking herbal elixirs? Under what circumstances?
Yeah, that's a really, really, really good question. I'm glad you asked that, because we don't want to be taking herbs when you are taking fertility medication. And there's a really good reason for that, because
prescription fertility medication?
Prescription fertility medication. Like if you're doing IVF, if you're doing Clomid, Letrozole, if you're doing the IUI, because these drugs are given to you for very specific reasons. And this includes Vitax and Maca too. So I, felt the urge to comment on another brand's supplement, because there's many people asking about whether or not it was safe during IVF. And I felt the need as an expert to say, no, it's not. You shouldn't be taking this with your IVF medication, because with IVF medication, you have the suppression phase, then you have the stimulation phase, right? Then you have the retrieval phase. And then you get on estrogen and progesterone to prep for the transfer. So all these drugs are given to you for very specific reasons. So during the suppression phase, you take an herb that's going to stimulate your ovaries or have an unknown effect on your reproductive system, because we talked about how Vitax and Maca and all these other fertility super herbs that, people are just crazy about on internet, but it's like, you don't know what they're going to do to you. So when you are taking these expensive medication and then you are taking these herbs with unknown effects, you could really mess up your cycle.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you're in the suppression phase and you end up having a follicle developing and ovulate, the whole cycle's over. So that's why we don't want to be taking herbs. And quite frankly, there are some studies that show the Chinese herbs function very differently than these other herbs. Like they don't directly stimulate the ovaries, but best practice in our community of fertility acupuncturists, as a rule of thumb, we stop the Chinese herbs as well when people are going through this process, because we don't want to be introducing unnecessary variables into the process.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, perfect. Well, Fertile Me. So we know, and as you already said, Fertile Me is a prenatal for preconception because it boosts your fertility with, as we know, the extra ingredients like the superfoods and an isotonal CoQ10. So when do we, I know we've explained this to everyone before, but when do we know that we need to supplement extra of the ingredients that are already in Fertile Me? Like folate. We're already taking folate, we're already taking D3, and now we're getting on Fertile.
Well, if you have vitamin D deficiency, you should definitely be taking extra vitamin D. If you are a vegetarian, I recommend that you take extra B12. If you have known MTHFR or any other types of autoimmune conditions that require extra folate, take extra folate. The 400 micrograms are in Fertile Me it's what's recommended. It's 100% daily value, just in case that you're not getting enough folate through diet.
Right. Remember everyone that you eat.
Right.
We hope.
We hope that you eat, but so that's why like supplements are meant to supplement what you don't get from your diet. Which a lot of these things in developed countries are very rare. But, that's why I'm shocked to see all these supplements that have like 1,000% of selenium. I'm like, why? You just eat one Brazil nut and you can get the selenium that you need. I'm serious.
I don't know how many people keep Brazil nuts, but yeah.
I mean, sure, if you're allergic to nuts, right? That's why we have selenium in our blend. but it's
Yeah.
not like a dangerously high level.
Right.
But of course, there are circumstances where if you're working with somebody and they're trained in prescribing specialty supplements and you're taking a large dose, and that's fine. Like, you're being monitored. But just because somebody says you should take zinc, you shouldn't run out and take zinc just because you've heard that it's good, you know?
Right. And on that note, it would be my advice to not assume that you're deficient in something unless you need to base it on a blood test from your physician.
Absolutely. Especially vitamin D. I mean, that is a very dangerous supplement to OD on.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could actually cause kidney damage. It can cause calcium buildup in your blood. I mean, it's a serious thing. So don't laugh it off like, oh, I'll be fine. No, you won't. You need to make sure that you are not taking too much.
Right. Especially in cases like that. And then also, and we won't go back into the basic fundamentals of Chinese medicine right now, but more is not better. Because it's not a prescription. You can't be like, I'll just bulk up on folate. It can't hurt me. It will overtax, even if you don't OD, it will overtax your liver and kidneys, and it will take away from your reproductive energy. So don't. Okay. Speaking of fertile me. So I have a lot of people say, oh my goodness, I just ordered my 3rd tub of fertile me. It's on its way to me, but now I'm pregnant. So, can I return it? What's happening here? So, I just did a post, y'all. A lot of y'all saw it, I think, on social media about being able to take it 12 weeks into your pregnancy. So talk to me about that. Why can we take it into our pregnancy?
Fertile me can be taken throughout the pregnancy. I mean, our medical advisory panel told us specifically that, every ingredient in this blend is safe during pregnancy, including CoQ10, because there are preliminary studies that show that CoQ10 could, when taken during pregnancy, could prevent preeclampsia. Well, reduce your risk. Okay. It could reduce your risk of preeclampsia. It could also, when taken in the first trimester, there are preliminary studies that show CoQ10 can possibly help to reduce the risk of miscarriage. And all these studies are showing that CoQ10 is possibly a really beneficial supplement to take during pregnancy. One of our medical advisors, she prescribes 200 micrograms or milligrams of CoQ10 to her patients to take throughout the pregnancy. That's great. The Fertile Me is a very safe supplement to take even during pregnancy. And the reason we tell you to switch to a different blend is because once you get to around 12 weeks of pregnancy, you're going to need a little bit more boost in certain levels, like certain things, right? Like, you're going to need a little bit more iron. You're going to need a little bit more, like, you're going to need iodine. You're going to need a little bit more, probably a little bit more vitamin D, vitamin A, things like that.
And that's because 12 weeks is when your nutritional needs change because of the baby, correct?
Correct.
So until 12 weeks, it's not like the second you find out, you're like, oh my God, I need 100 more micrograms of. It's not like that, right?
But let me just remind you too that the whole thing about taking a prenatal, I mean, prenatal is absolutely essential, but we have to trust that our bodies have, if we have done everything correctly and eat a healthy diet, we're going to be okay. So anyway, that's another topic, but.
Yeah, no, that's great. And also, if you're uncomfortable with that and you don't take the Fertile Me, just a side note, it has a pretty long shelf life. It's great for after you have given birth and you want to regulate your hormones again or get your cycle back, or even, it's a fantastic, I am not trying to conceive, and I take Fertile Me and omega-3 and that every day. And so it'd be a great thing to hop back on once you've had your baby. I mean, it's not.
Well, and let me just say too, like it's a powder, it's a drink. And I don't know how you're going to react in the first trimester when the morning sickness kicks in and your food aversions, but it's probably to your benefit to drink something versus taking a pill that you might throw up.
Right.
I mean, it's liquid, so it might be a little bit easier to go down versus a capsule or gummy. So that could be another advantage. But like I said, we formulated this to be a prenatal. So
right. Okay. And so the ingredients in FME, there's an isotal in there. Why do I need an isotal if I don't have insulin resistance?
Well, all of us probably have some level of insulin resistance. I'll just tell you that right now. I know I got into so many discussions about insulin resistance with other people, but guys, listen, you might not think you have insulin resistance because you're not diabetic. You don't have PCOS. Your A1C is normal. But let me just tell you that insulin resistance can be hidden in so many different places. Cholesterol, it could be hidden in, you can be manifesting thyroid or hypothyroid condition symptoms. I can't talk today. And it could be hidden in many, many different places. So it's about prevention as much as it is about correction. And the reason why we specifically have inositol, I mean, I'm going to do a huge episode on insulin resistance, just so just you wait. It's going to be mind blowing, and
I'm going to tune in for that one because I don't get it. Anyway,
it's absolutely amazing because I had one of my patients. I pressed for the insulin levels because everything was fine, and guess what? She had insulin resistance. You could never tell from anything else, and just know that insulin is a storage hormone. If you understood that it's a storage hormone, it tells your body fat, you go here, you go here, glucose, you go here, because of the relationship between that and fat. That's how it affects your hormones, because fat affects your hormones. Anyway.
Hey, great.
But
so
when it comes to fertility, inositol, people don't know this, but inositol through a complicated pathway, a calcium-related pathway, it directly controls ovulation. It directly affects ovulation and the maturation of the follicles. That's why it's in there. Because not only does it help to reduce any possibility of insulin resistance, your body already makes it. So it's not like you're supplementing something that's foreign to your body. Right. And it helps to boost egg quality and ovulation and all that.
That is wonderful information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Let's see. Oh, well, now that we're pregnant and maybe taking FME for the first 12 weeks, do we continue to take our omega-3? And if we do we continue to take the whole omega-3 or just the DHA?
Take the whole omega-3. I mean, I think that the whole, and this is kind of like, it's very Western medicine to like extract one ingredient and just be like, take a bunch of this, right? This is good. But it's always better to take things, the whole thing. Like it's always better to eat a Brazil nut than taking 1,000% over your daily value of selenium.
Sure.
It's always better to eat a carrot than to supplement like vitamin A. Like it's always better to eat whole foods and get your get what you need from like food. And omega-3 contains EPA and DHA, and it's the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So you're getting added benefits of the omega-3 and not just the DHA. So you're getting like the anti-inflammation, inflammatory benefits. You're getting the, everything that you read that omega-3 helps with, heart health, boost brain health, everything. You're getting
like
all
the
of that.
clarity and stuff might help the pregnancy brain. Did you get that from me?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, okay, so what of these supplements then are safe for breastfeeding? I want to get back on some supplements, but I'm breastfeeding.
You can take all of them except the Chinese herbs, because there's a possibility that the herbs can show up in breast milk, just like anything can. However, the thing about the herbs is that we always do things according to pattern. Whatever your patterns are, you take the herbs that are appropriate for that pattern. So we don't know what your baby's patterns are, right? So if you're taking like peaceful or something and your baby is actually a grateful, then that's the wrong formulation. And besides, when they're take the pattern quiz. Yeah, and the thing is, like, if you really want to take the herbs, you could. You would have to, like, you know, similar to the whole pump and dump philosophy that some of you may be familiar with when it comes to alcohol.
There's also alcohol in the herbs.
Very good point, but very, very small percentage. It's not even enough to like matter. Like kids can probably take it and be fine. But it's the fact that, see, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. You were saying that you can still take them and do the pump and dump.
Oh yeah.
Like
so you could like take your herbs first thing in the morning if you know you're not going to nurse for, you know, many hours later. But you could just wait until you're done nursing and then you can take the elixirs. That would be my preferred way.
Yeah. Okay. Well, say I took the pattern quiz with our beautiful electronic quiz, and I got my 2 primary patterns. I got the results, you know, and I'm peaceful and grateful. But then later, I just read the descriptions of all of the patterns, and I feel like just from the description that I am hopeful. So what should I do? What should I take? What should I listen to? What I think? What pattern sounds like me, or my results from a quiz?
Well, first of all, you don't check off a pattern or a symptom unless you've had it for at least 3 months.
Right.
Because if you just had it one time, like, oh, yesterday I had a little bit of loose stool, that's not a symptom. Like you have to have lots and lots of consistent, like every day, every month, this is what happens. Right. If you had mid-cycle spotting one time in the last 3 months, don't worry about it. It's not enough to be, it could just be a fluke. It could be something else, right? Because primary patterns are the causes of everything that we're experiencing, including, right? Because you might be grateful, hopeful, with faithful as a third. But you have that one symptom that you checked off on the faithful, which is night sweats.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you're faithful.
Right.
So I think that will probably help a lot of you. It's just like, don't check anything off unless you've had it for at least 3 months.
Exactly. And if you'll do that, if you will be honest and really think about what you've had consistently for 3 months and answer the quiz that way, then trust the results you get from the quiz. Because I had a hard time with it. Like when I first started working with you, Adrienne, and I was just like, but I have cold hands and feet and I have whatever. And, you know, you, especially symptoms that are really tangible that you really notice, you've got 2 of those from some pattern and you're like, that's definitely me. But then when you answer these questions, you get a different result. And the patterns are so interrelated and one can cause another. And so you may be having some of these symptoms and it makes you feel like, no, I feel like I'm hopeful now that I've read that description. It's the pattern. Trust the answers to your quiz.
I mean, I worked really, really hard, and this is many iterations later, the pattern quiz, It's pretty darn accurate. I've had other acupuncturists tell me it's pretty darn accurate. So this is what I've been doing for the last 15 years of my life is acupuncture, herbs, helping people get pregnant.
Yeah.
So, but just know that your primary patterns, if you work on them, they will help to resolve your secondary patterns. And then in 3 months, retake the quiz and see if anything has shifted. Because It's very possible that it has shifted. And don't freak out if it does, because that's not that you've done something wrong or it's not working. It's just that your patterns have shifted. And that happens to every single one of us every single day. We're changing, we're evolving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I lost my train of thought about what I was going to say.
What's wrong with us today? We're like,
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean,
there's something about the patterns that, also what I was going to say is you don't necessarily know, even though you feel like you're a pattern, you don't know until you've answered these questions because it's an underlying issue. Yeah. It's your root cause. It's underlying, meaning it may not be obvious to you. It wouldn't be called underlying if it was a big glaring symptom that you definitely knew you needed to address. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So anyway, okay, we do get a question that I had jotted down here about what is good to take for like IVF prep and egg retrieval, but I think we've already covered that.
Let me just make sure that I say this, that the Fertile Me is 100% safe to take with IVF. And it's safe for anyone because there are no herbs in there. There are no drugs in there. And I know there are a lot of other supplements being marketed as a fertility pill. Don't take that. If you look at the ingredients, you can tell that it's just not safe for IVF. So the FME you can take, Fuel Egg Quality Bundle. Even if you're prepping for transfer, the ingredients in the Fuel Bundle would definitely help you. Vitamin E is really great for lining. ALA and NAC both help with antioxidant, like they're antioxidants. And ALA is also a really great antioxidant. It's just the reason, again, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but like the reason why it's not considered part of the essential is that it's not appropriate for every single person and it's not as powerful as NAC, right? Mm-hmm. But ALA, the reason that we put it in the Fuel Egg Quality Bundle is also because it can help to enhance the absorption of like CoQ10 and some other fat soluble supplements too. So
you bring me to another question that some people ask is, and y'all, the instructions for how to take each supplement is on the bottle, obviously, but a lot of people ask like which ones are fat soluble and what that means, like, and which ones to take with or without food.
The Chinese herbs, the herbal elixirs, I prefer that you don't take them with food because the herbs are foods themselves. So if you're it's like eating a big meal on top of a big meal, you want to make sure that these herbs are being absorbed. And so the herbs, I recommend that you take them in between a meal. But the way that I do it, okay, so this is the way I do it. I make the powder drink of the FME. And because the FME is a liquid and it's a very light raspberry flavor, I mean, it could be used as a chaser to anything. I mean, there's nothing stopping you from eating your breakfast with FME and taking all the other stuff with it. But there's some stuff that you definitely need to take it with food, and that would be like vitamin D, right? That would be very beneficial. I don't want to say you have to because you're still absorbing it. It's just best taken with food, some fat. However,
fat soluble means
that they need to be
paired with fat
in order for it to be absorbed.
Perfect. So
can I just tell you,
I want to eat it with food.
Right. But can I just tell you that for a lot of people out there who are taking pill vitamin Ds, The reason our vitamin D is going to be better is because it's already suspended in oil.
Mm-hmm.
It's already suspended in soybean oil, which do not let us scare you, because it doesn't mean that it has soy in there. Soybean oil is the best carrier oil for these fat-soluble vitamins. But this soybean oil specifically, I don't know about other brands, but the soy, the protein is removed from the oil so that it's safe for those who have soy allergies.
Right.
And it does not contain soy.
Perfect.
So anyway, so my point is, if you are going to take a vitamin D or take a vitamin E, just to make sure that it's already suspended in some type of oil if you're not going to take it with food.
Got it. And it won't hurt you, like you said, to not take it with food. It won't be absorbed.
You'll just absorb less.
Yeah, you'll just absorb less. Okay, got it. Well, so our B12, which I am a huge fan of. Is that the same kind of guideline that you should really only take it on top of your other supplements if you have proven to be deficient?
Yeah, and you'll know if you're B12 deficient.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you're anemic, you can definitely benefit from vitamin B12. And so here's another thing, ours it's a methylcobalamin, which is the most natural, easily absorbed form. A lot of other people have cyanocobalamin, which is synthetic. So
I love it because I've taken many B12s, but I go in and out of anemia. I always have. So I can tell when I've taken B12 and when I haven't, at the times that I seem to be deficient in it. And this B12 is awesome.
Yeah, it gives you a boost of energy.
It does. It's like, I don't want to compare it to caffeine because there's absolutely no jittery or any feeling with it. But if I know I have like a really long day or that I especially my energy needs to stay up all day, like I have something like this or something going on at 2:30 or 3 where I would normally be like, oh, okay. I've been working for a while. It just keeps my energy at a great level all day. And I feel so good about it instead of at 2:30 or 3 drinking caffeine or something like that. If I need a boost, I just feel better that I have just supplemented with something that my body needs.
Naturally. Right. And it means water soluble. It's pretty safe. So, you can't really keep I
love it.
Reserve of it, and which is why you have to supplement it.
And it tastes great.
But yeah, so anyway, so if you need to take vitamin B12, then take a vitamin B12.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay. We have some different bundles that people have questions about, like the painful period bundle. Is that is it just some people ask, is it just for people with endometriosis? Because I know in the description it talks about the benefits for that. Or can you just take it if you have extremely painful periods?
You just take it when you have extremely painful periods. But it's based on this study that we found that studied women with endometriosis with severe period pain as a symptom. And this was the protocol of NAC, ALA, and bromelain. And they were able to reduce the pain level by a significant amount after 6 months. So obviously the flow, we substitute for bromelain because it's a lot safer. Bromelain can have a bunch of other side effects. But NAC, ALA, and the flow will have similar effects, or the flow would have similar effects of the bromelain. And especially the flow, the added advantage of flow is the fact that if you have heavy and painful period, the flow will help to move blood as well as nourish the blood. So it would help to kind of correct some of the blood deficiency that you're going to get from losing so much blood.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a cool bundle. I know a lot of people get it because NAC, anywhere you read about it, it'll say that it just reduces pelvic pain.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
There's a pretty small study on NAC and how it actually reduces the size of the endometriomas. So it's a very preliminary study, which means a lot more needs to be done, but that's encouraging.
That is super encouraging. So I'm glad you said something about flow, because people also ask about the Fortify Miscarriage Recovery Bundle, which is 2 bottles of our Hopeful blend and 2 bottles of Flow. And we don't need to, just in case any of y'all don't know, on the Two Elefants website, under products, there is a section called How To, and Adrienne has made a how-to video for how to take all of these supplements. So you can get into those details there. But so why does the Fortify Miscarriage Recovery Bundle help us, and when should we take it?
Well, I think it's really helpful if you're newly going through a miscarriage. Like if this is already 2 or 3 months, if you miscarried 2 or 3 months ago, or even a month, and you've already had a cycle, then I recommend that you just take Herbal Elixirs according to your pattern. This is really specifically designed for the people who are just starting to miscarry. And I know it's one of those things where you're like, oh, I'm miscarrying. You don't always think to order this bundle, right? Okay. So if you're within that first month of miscarriage, this bundle will definitely work for you, because the Flow is going to help cleanse and help the lining shed completely, just to help cleanse out the uterus because of the moving property. It helps with that. And also, I talked about before where it helps to nourish the blood as well. So if you're having a super duper heavy bleeding due to the miscarriage, this will help to help you recover some of the blood. And then you nourish, then you give your chi a boost with the Hopeful. Even though that's not your pattern, it doesn't matter, because after a miscarriage, you're going to be blood deficient and you're going to be chi deficient. So that's the reason why these 2 blends are formulated together.
Perfect.
And you know, the reason why, if you've already miscarried and had another cycle, so maybe that's a good guideline for most people, is that if you have not had a cycle, then you can take the because when you've had a cycle, then it's like everything has already reset. Right. So then you just go back to what you were doing before, and maybe we take the pattern quiz to see if your pattern has changed, and then go from there.
Perfect. I love it that we have a bundle, and just Chinese herbs in general, that can help you through that process. You know what I mean? Okay, so I think that I've covered most of the frequently asked questions that I usually get from the women on our kind of regular supplements. So there's only one more question, and I guess we can end on that because it's about the men.
Yep.
What of your products can my husband take? Or not your products, just what can my husband take?
Well, I mean, we talked about how NAC is beneficial for sperm.
It is.
Omega-3, absolutely.
Yes.
They can even take the ALA. And I'm reading into some studies about vitamin E and sperm quality. I'm not convinced yet, which is why I'm not recommending that to everybody. But, you know, all of those things will help. They're herbal elixirs for sure.
Yeah, I find that even though we have like, are you getting these for your husband? Like, take the male pattern quiz here. I love it when I see people ordering it for their husbands, because the people who do, we always hear back from them saying, wow, like he's on my Chinese medicine bandwagon now, because he feels totally different or better, or his test results were different. And so they can
definitely take it. And we're working on a male fertility blend. There's just a couple of things that we need to iron out and make sure that it's exactly, you know, think about how long it took us to have the Fertile Me. We wanted to make sure that it's absolutely the best and it's going to work. So I'm not just going to hand you some multivitamin that you can just get in the store. That's not the point of Two Elefants.
Well, and I know sometimes when women start on a Fertile Me and they are getting rid of all those extra pill bottles that they no longer have to take anymore, is it the CoQ10 that we always just say, give it to your husband?
Yes.
Okay. So
thank you for reminding me that.
Ah.
Yeah. So CoQ10 for sure, they can take that too, because that's going to be helpful for sperm as well. Yeah. So I definitely think, I mean, men can even take inositol, right? Because a lot of men like to drink beer. They don't always, I don't want to be speaking for every single male out there, but a lot of times what we're hearing, at least from our patients and people we work with, that their husbands don't always have the healthiest lifestyle. So they're for sure going to have some level of insulin resistance. If they have a beer gut, they probably have insulin resistance.
They've got the belly fat around the middle.
Yep.
They're going to be insulin resistant. And
yeah.
that's going to really affect their
sperm quality for sure. Yeah. So they can definitely benefit from don't give them the FME because of the, iron. And men have very different requirements than women. They probably need a little bit more of this, a less of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll come up with a male blend soon, but, and I think, I had another train of thought too, but I was going to just end with, why wouldn't you just go to Amazon and buy all these things, right? And there's nothing, of course you can. We're telling you exactly what you need to take. Of course you can go to Amazon. But quality, purity, everything matters. And we're honestly, like, all these results that we're spitting out, like, hey, my husband took your Elixirs and the sperm quality improved. I mean, I promise we're not making it up. And these I wouldn't be putting these products on the Two Elefants website if I didn't think that they were going to work. And as soon as something, it's a little iffy or it's not going to work, I mean, we haven't had to done that, but we got some supplements in first and we were just like, this is not going to be, there's no need for us to sell this supplement. Like, we're not carrying vitamin C. We're not carrying, I can't think of it now. Like, we're not carrying extra zinc. We're not carrying all these other.
I haven't even thought about that. We have ordered supplements here to think about selling, and after using them or doing more studies, we decide against it.
Mm-hmm. Like, our probiotics,
we don't feel confident putting this out there. We don't, they don't really need this. We don't. And that's a great point. I also, because you put out so much great education about eating, about diet just for fertility in general, like with the, anti-inflammatory or the inflammatory foods and all that stuff, eating for your pattern, like the more involved you get in that, it just, in my mind, I think it would be a shame if I tried to put forth so much effort into eating these clean foods, cutting this out of my diet and my lifestyle,
mm-hmm.
and then buying a supplement that's going to then put a bunch of processed junk into my system.
Absolutely.
That would upset me.
Totally. And right. And that's why we're not
on a diet.
I mean, quite frankly, that's why we're not on Amazon. We're not an Amazon supplement company because, right? Like, we care about so much more than to put a supplement out there and calling it a fertility pill because we think that you'll buy it. I mean, that's just flat out wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, they've told us
anyway
to come on there though, but not today.
I mean, so again, you absolutely can go to Amazon and buy your own NAC or whatever. I just, we can't guarantee the purity.
Sure. And we'll also give you advice on that. If you have every intention of going somewhere else and you want to, the protocol now, you just said that, just like she said, that's fine.
Absolutely. But
however,
there's no
vouch for.
Oh my gosh. But there's no
For
F
fun?
me anywhere else. There's no other F me anywhere else. So anyway.
No, it's fertility boosting prenatal because you're not pregnant yet. That's and we all know that.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to be insensitive, but we all know that we're not pregnant yet. So why would we take something meant for people who have been pregnant for a while?
You don't need it, and it's not right. You need something fertility specific. Anyway, I feel like we're beating a dead horse here.
I know.
I'm gonna keep beating it though.
Even if you're not TTC like me, y'all, it's done wonders for my period, for my regular ovulation, everything like that, and just energy in general. It also gives you energy. FME does.
I mean, the most encouraging comment, I love getting comments like, you know, hey, I took the FME for 3 months. I'm finally got my big fat positive.
I know. The other day I was like, God, getting a little annoyed at people saying, never mind, I don't need my FME because I'm pregnant. And then I'm like, wait, it works.
Right.
That means it works.
All right. We got to go.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will talk to you soon. Bye.